Hello, my name is Bridget Benson, and I am an associate professor in the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department at California Polytechnic State University, San Luis Obispo, also known as Cal Poly SLO. I didn't always know I wanted to be a professor, nor did I know that I wanted to be in the field of electrical and computer engineering. It just sort of turned out that way. When I was in high school and was deciding what major to study in college, I thought that maybe I would study marine biology because I really liked going to aquariums and I really liked the ocean. However, I didn't really like biology class in high school because I did not like dissecting things. I even asked my mom to write me a permission slip to get me out of dissecting a worm in class, which I ended up being excused from doing. So if I couldn't even dissect a worm, how could I study 4 years of biology in college? So maybe that wasn't exactly the right field for me. The other thing I really liked in high school and throughout my life at that point was math. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll be a math major. And my dad said, well, why don't you look into engineering? That involves a lot of math. And I didn't really know anything about engineering, let alone all the different kinds of engineering. So I knew I was interested in going to Cal Poly, so I got the Cal Poly catalog, opened it up, and it happened to land on computer engineering. I looked at the coursework and saw that there was a lot of math, so thought, that sounds pretty good. And I also thought, well, computers are used in everything, so why not go to school to learn all about them, even though I don't really know much about them yet. And so that's what I decided to do, and I ended up in the field of computer engineering and stuck with it ever since. I did find out, though, in one of my internships while at Cal Poly, that I could combine computer engineering with my interest in the ocean. Besides, you need instrumentation to study the ocean, so you can combine the two fields. So for my graduate degree, my undergraduate advisor knew somebody, Ryan Kastner, at the University of California, Santa Barbara, who was working on an underwater acoustic modem, which was a device that combined computer engineering skills for use in the ocean. So I applied to work with Ryan on this design and was accepted and started graduate school. 2 years into my program, Ryan got a job at the Jacobs School of Engineering at UC San Diego and offered for me to follow him to UC San Diego or to find a new advisor. So I opted to go to the Jacobs School of Engineering, which is where I completed my PhD. The Jacobs School of Engineering was an awesome location for me because of its great connection with the Scripps Institute of Oceanography. So at the Jacobs School of Engineering, I could take classes in computer engineering, but also take classes at the Scripps Institute of Oceanography in fields like underwater acoustics and oceanography. So it was really great for me to combine my two interests. My greatest accomplishment at the Jacobs School was completing my PhD. I know I was super nervous for my PhD defense, and it was just such a great accomplishment getting through that defense and earning my degree. So when I completed my PhD, I found a postdoc at the University of Massachusetts, or UMass Boston, at the Center for Coastal Environmental Sensing Networks. This was a really cool job, but only temporary, so I had to find another position. And I saw an ad to become a professor at Cal Poly. Since I really liked being a student at Cal Poly, I thought, why not? I'll apply to be a professor. So in 2011, I became a professor of electrical and computer engineering, and that is where I still am today. My job as a professor primarily involves teaching undergraduate courses in the field of electrical and computer engineering and advising student projects in that field as well. Most of the student projects I advise involve designing instrumentation or integrating instrumentation for ocean studies. Because I also spend most of my time teaching, I research techniques for improving engineering education. And one of my most recent projects on that topic is looking at ways to improve diversity and inclusion in the computer engineering classroom. Diversity in the field of computing is extremely important. Computers are used to help human beings, and so those who design computers should be from a diverse set of people in order to design systems that can meet a diverse set of needs. Sometimes people from underrepresented minority backgrounds don't feel included within the field because they don't see others like themselves in the field. But there are people like them in the field who have made contributions, and their contributions are valuable. So one of the projects I've done to help increase diversity and inclusion in my classes is to present people from underrepresented backgrounds and who have made contributions to the field of computing throughout history, to show students that people like them have done it and they can do it too. And your contributions will be valuable. A fellowship to an underrepresented minority student would be awesome because that student may not otherwise have the chance to enter the field of computing. And the field of computing needs people from diverse backgrounds. 76% of today's computing workforce is made up of individuals who identify as male, leaving those who do not identify as male, such as myself, who identifies as a female, in the minority. And those in the minority sometimes have to work harder to achieve success. And I have to say for myself, my path to success really just relied on a lot of help from other people and always asking for help when I needed it, and just keeping my head to the grindstone or nose to the ground and keep on going or keep on working until I reach the goal I set out for myself. I have to admit that many points along the way, and even today, I wonder if I'm in the right field, or if I belong in computing, or if computing is right for me, or if I'm not smart enough for computing. But I know that I just have to keep at it, and that everybody in the field, and everybody just about in any field, often has those doubts, sometimes more than others. So outside of my job as a professor at Cal Poly, I don't have very many hobbies now that I have a 2-year-old and a 6-week-old. But before I had my children, I really enjoyed the outdoors and was an avid scuba diver and a paraglider. Now I enjoy less extreme sports and take my kids on hikes and bike rides, and, well, mostly walks around the neighborhood. I hope my story has given you at least one other example of someone in the minority who has, quote unquote, made it in the field of computing.